Welcome, welcome. Come a little closer, why don't you? There, that's much better. Now, where to begin? Quis est iste qui venit? 5 simple Latin words. But these words altered a man's life utterly. They could even alter yours. How can such a thing possibly be, you might wonder? Pay close attention.
Have you any plans now full term is over, Parkins?
I mean to go to the Norfolk coast, Burnstow, for a week or so to improve my golf.
Golf? I can't imagine you playing golf, Parkins.
There's a science to it, a cause and effect rigour that is most gratifying. I have a regular partner with whom I meet.
Burnstow?
Yes.
Ask you a favour, if I may. There's an old site nearby, a mile or so, a ruin of a Templar preceptory. I wonder if you could take a look at the place. What I want to know is there enough of the site left to justify a dig?
I lack expertise in your field, Rogers, but I'm sure I can write you an accurate description of what I find.
I'd be in your debt. Enjoy the links.
No, Boots. Put the gentleman's cases over there.
Oh, a double-bedded room.
Did ask for a large room.
But I don't need 2 beds.
Oh, but look, sir, you've got a good-sized desk, lovely big window looking out to the sea, and perhaps your wife might join you?
I'm quite alone in the world, Mrs. Driver, and I'm sure the room will do very well.
Bravo, Professor.
Thank you, Wilson. Always a pleasure to play with you.
Still don't understand a word of your trajectories, wind resistance and such. I was cavalry, not artillery, you know. Oh, but that was quite a shot.
Oh, it's really no more than applied mechanics.
Me, I just slug away.
And I haven't beaten you yet. So there's something to be said for your system. I could have sworn it fell here.
You want to declare a lost ball?
Not yet. Nearly turned my ankle. Now, what's this? Mounds of stone. Dozen or more of them, much worn down. And walls.
Well, the natives call them the sleeping stones. You can see a sort of a shape to it all if you look.
So I can. Why, this is Roger's Templar preceptory. A colleague of mine at Cambridge asked me to look the place over. Would you mind if I made a few notes while we're here?
Not at all. I shall light my pipe and bask in the fickle sun like a lizard. Well, I've heard of the Templars, but what's a preceptory?
Well, I think it's merely the technical term to describe their buildings. Flints, embedded in mortar. The mounds arranged in interlocking rectangles. The longest of which is around 25 feet. And this, a sort of platform of stone.
I'd say it was an altar.
Really?
Yeah. Feel of the place. If this was a church, that's where your altar would be. Doesn't it strike you like that?
I'm not a church-going man, but... Now, what's that? At the end of your altar, a patch of turf has been cut away. Who would do such a thing? There's an opening. Let me widen it with my knife. Small cavity, dropping at an angle into the ground.
Should you put your arm in like that? You don't know... You all right?
I found something. If I could just reach it. Yes. Queer little thing. Metal. A cylinder no longer than my index finger.
Black with age. Look at those clouds. I think we should get back to the hotel.
Yes.
You're taking it?
Why not?
Or perhaps you should leave the place undisturbed for your colleague.
Or perhaps I'd like to impress my colleague with my research in the field.
Oh, the rain's coming. It'll be quicker along the beach. Let's pick up our pace, Professor. What is it?
Do you see him?
Huh?
That poor man far behind us. He's making heavy weather in the breakwaters, and he nearly fell just then. He's not walking right.
What? Where do you mean?
Back there. She's stumbling, but in a devil of a hurry. As if you were trying to catch us up.
Well, I'm not waiting for anyone. Not in this.
We'll share a bottle of the Merceau with our fish, shall we?
A bottle?
Live a little, my dear Parkins. Oh, I think I recognize it. Your little relic.
Relic?
But it's in your hand.
I didn't realize I'd taken it out of my pocket.
Your hand has been straying to it all evening. After dinner, I'll show you. Brush the rust away. Now, use one of my pipe cleaners. Here, draw it through. You see? It's a whistle.
You're right. And there are marks on it. No words. Bring over the candle.
Here.
Quis est iste qui venit.
I've pretty much forgotten my Latin.
I thought so too, but... Though, here's the thing, Wilson. I knew exactly, on looking at the words, what they mean. Who is this? Who is coming?
Good Lord.
Let me get my lips to it. Think I got the hang of it.
The candle! I've got it. Help me with the window. I can hardly move it. Together now.
What a force the wind can get up to in minutes.
Except, it wasn't exactly minutes, was it? The wind just seemed to explode in an instant, just after you blew.
That's East Coast weather for you.
Yes. Yes, you must be right. I'll get back to my room.
No, hurry. I could send out for a nightcab.
I'm for bed. Good night.
Yes, of course. Good night.
Parkins, you've made a pretty poor attack on your breakfast.
I blame the wine, which was no doubt responsible for my dream. I never dream. The part of the beach that we walked on yesterday, two men ran, vaulting over the breakwaters. The first man kept looking behind him, and ghastly this, I realized that the person behind was chasing him, moving at startling speed, but not moving as a regular man moves.
How so?
A sort of flickering quality, as he vaulted over each breakwater, and the man being chased, I couldn't see his face, he finally hid behind a breakwater, and the one chasing him, he slowed down. It was as if he couldn't see, came listening for him, or sniffing for him.
Sniffing? Could you see that man's face?
No. Oh, I would be very unwilling to look at that person at close quarters.
More coffee, gentlemen?
No, thank you. Let's get to the links. A few rounds will blow away those dreams.
I shall fetch my coat.
Professor Parkins, I meant to ask you, would you like another blanket on your bed?
Yes, thank you. Does seem to have turned colder.
Well, which bed shall I put it on, then?
What do you mean? The one I sleep in, of course.
But, well, you seem to have slept in both of them. I had to make them both up.
But that's not possible.
Oh, excuse me, but the sheets were all crumpled and thrown about as though someone had passed a very bad night.
Perhaps they got disarranged. When the wind came. Yes, that must be it. Good shot.
Haven't been expecting a visitor, have you?
No?
Sorry, take a shot. I didn't mean to distract you. It's just that Boots...
Yes?
Boots... He was in the yard just as I was coming out to follow you to the course. He looked up and saw someone in the big window, is what he said, waving, all in white. Waving from the window of your room. Boots seemed quite put out. But as to what sort of a witness Boots is, well... Oh, bad luck. What is it, Parkins?
Surely a chambermaid or some such in the window. Nothing odd in that. Surely. Good night, Wilson.
Good night. What the...
Hawkins! Get him off me!
The window, man! You're going to fall! Come on! The wind caught the bedsheet. Let's get you untangled.
The wind caught the sheet. No. Sorry, that won't do. It moved. It rose up, and it had the form of a person. It looked for me, but he couldn't see. Then I made a sound. I couldn't help myself, and then he found me. Wilson, he had a face, but not made of skin. There were no eyes, but there were teeth. I could feel them as the face pressed upon my face, the mouth on my mouth, and the face was dry and made of crumpled linen.
I'll sit with you. Shell shock, my dear fellow. Handkerchief. Seen it all before. Oh, Mrs. Driver, no, please leave us. Not now! What's that? Why? Well, yes. Yes, of course I'll hold your hand. There.
Thank you, Colonel Wilson, for coming in person. You've been very helpful about the events at Burnstow.
Your letter alluded to...
Ah, yes. The events here. Professor Parkins came to chapel for evensong, and he saw the white linen vestments of the chaplain hanging on the door. He made a whimpering sound and ran from the chapel. I found him at the end of the herbal gardens in extreme distress. Amongst the verbenas, as a matter of fact. Terrible. To be possessed by such an illness of the brain.
It wasn't quite...
When you visit him, pass on the kind wishes of the college.
Of course.
Your cab, Colonel. Many thanks for your time. Strange little relic Parkins pressed into my hand. A whistle, of all things. I shall study it with interest.
Oh, Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad by M.R. James featured Derek Jacobi as M.R. James, Jamie Glover as Parkins, Nicholas Bolton as Colonel Wilson, Rachel Atkins as Mrs. Driver, and Ben Umwukwi as Professor Rogers. The music was composed by Nikolai Abrahamson, and the director was Gemma Jenkins.
I lack expertise in your field, Rogers, but I'm sure I can write you an accurate description of what I find.
I'd be in your debt. Enjoy the links.
No, Boots. Put the gentleman's cases over there.
Oh, a double-bedded room.
Did ask for a large room.
But I don't need 2 beds.
Oh, but look, sir, you've got a...
Welcome, welcome. Come a little closer, why don't you? There, that's much better. Now, where to begin? Quis est iste qui venit? 5 simple Latin words.
Golf.
Golf? I can't imagine you playing golf, Parkins.
There's a science to it. A cause and effect rigour that is most gratifying. I have a regular partner with whom I meet.
Burnstow?
Yes.
Ask you a favour, if I may. There's an old site nearby, a mile or so, a ruin of a Templar preceptory. I wonder if you could take a look at the place. What I want to know is there enough of the site left to justify a dig?
But these words altered a man's life utterly. They could even alter yours. How can such a thing possibly be, you might wonder? Pay close attention.
Have you any plans now full term is over, Parkins?
I mean to go to the Norfolk coast, Burnstow, for a week or so to improve my...
Good-sized desk, lovely big window looking out to the sea, and perhaps your wife might join you?
I'm quite alone in the world, Mrs. Driver, and I'm sure the room will do very well.
Bravo, Professor.
Thank you, Wilson. Always a pleasure to play with you.
Still don't understand a word of your trajectories, wind resistance and such. I was cavalry, not artillery, you know. Oh, but that was quite a shot.